An insane winter pattern is about to unleash chaos across America, and it's happening faster than anyone expected. 70 million people are in the direct path of what could be the most dangerous weather event of the decade. Multiple blizzards, Arctic air 30 degrees below zero. And here's the terrifying part. Some cities will get hit 3 times in 7 days with barely any time to recover between storms. The question that should keep you awake tonight: is your city about to be buried? By the end of this emergency briefing, you'll know exactly when each blizzard strikes, which areas face life-threatening cold, and the one critical mistake that could trap you on a highway for 12 hours. And in exactly 30 seconds, I'll reveal which major city could see minus 40-degree wind chills by Saturday's skin, cold enough to freeze exposed skin in under 3 minutes. Then at minute 5, the complete storm-by-storm timeline, so you know precisely when danger arrives at your doorstep. Here's what the computer models are showing right now that has meteorologists using words like unprecedented and historic. As promised, Minneapolis could experience wind chills of minus 35 to minus 45 degrees Fahrenheit by Saturday morning. That's colder than the surface of Mars. At those temperatures, frostbite occurs in under 90 seconds. Your morning commute? That becomes a survival situation if anything goes wrong. But Minneapolis isn't alone. This Arctic blast will impact from Montana to Maine. Over 100 million Americans east of the Rockies could feel temperatures 30 to 40 degrees below normal. This isn't just cold weather. This is dangerous, potentially deadly cold. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. Before that Arctic air arrives, multiple blizzards are going to pummel the same regions. Some areas will see 14 inches of snow from one storm, barely have time to dig out, then get hit again 48 hours later. The jet stream has buckled into a pattern we only see once every 5 to 7 years. Picture a massive dip. Meteorologists call it a trough, that's acting like a superhighway for Arctic air to pour straight out of Canada into the heart of America. Right now, as I'm recording this, that jet stream is already dipping across the Northeast and Great Lakes. Below average temperatures are already in place, but what's coming is on an entirely different level. By Wednesday and Thursday, the jet stream dips even deeper. And when it does, it's going to transport what one forecaster called an obscene amount of cold air southward. The upper-level winds, measured at 18,000 feet above the ground, are forecast to reach speeds we typically only see in the strongest winter storms. Question: have you ever experienced sustained temperatures below zero for multiple days? Because that's what tens of millions are about to face. Here's how this nightmare unfolds. Hour by hour, day by day. Today, Monday, snow is already falling across Virginia, North Carolina, and West Virginia. This is the appetizer. Snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. Some areas in southern Virginia could see 6 to 7 inches by tonight. Roads are getting slick, accidents are piling up, but this is nothing compared to what's coming. Tonight into Tuesday morning, a small band of snow crosses Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, just an inch or so. Easy to handle, but it's the calm before the storm. Tuesday, this is when things get serious. A powerful low-pressure system explodes across the northern plains, and I mean explodes. The pressure drops so fast, the winds intensify so quickly that blizzard warnings are going up for a 300-mile corridor. North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota get hit first Tuesday morning. Freezing rain transitions to heavy snow. By Tuesday afternoon, the system rapidly intensifies as it barrels across Minnesota and Wisconsin. This is when it becomes dangerous. The snow isn't just heavy, we're talking rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour. But combined with winds gusting to 45 miles per hour, that creates whiteout conditions, zero visibility. You can't see the car in front of you. Highway pileups become inevitable. Tuesday evening, around 6 or 7 p.m., Green Bay, Wisconsin gets slammed. Wausau sees the worst of it. Northern Minnesota is buried, and this continues through the night. By Wednesday morning, the storm pushes into the Northeast. But here's the problem. It's weakening. Most areas inland will see 2 to 4 inches. Not catastrophic, but enough to cause problems. Coastal areas? Mostly rain. But don't relax yet. Wednesday night into Thursday, lake effect snow kicks in. Watertown, New York, you're in the bullseye for significant accumulation. The Great Lakes haven't frozen yet, which means they're moisture factories pumping snow into the atmosphere. The snowfall totals from these first two storms are staggering. Mid-Atlantic today, 1 to 5 inches widespread. Some spots, 6 to 7. Northern Plains, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 to 10 inches across a narrow corridor from North Dakota to northern Michigan. Near Duluth and northern Wisconsin, 12 to 14 inches possible. That's over a foot of snow in less than 24 hours. But Minneapolis, Des Moines, Chicago, Milwaukee, you might only see an inch or two. This is a very narrow targeted strike. If you're in the path, you're getting hammered. If you're 50 miles south, you might see flurries. Here's the best part coming at 3 minutes. The complete Arctic blast timeline that should terrify anyone who has to be outside this weekend. Thursday is when the Arctic air starts its invasion. It begins late Thursday night across Montana and North Dakota. Temperatures that were in the 20s plunge to 0 or below in a matter of hours. Friday morning, the cold spreads like a virus. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska all wake up to sub-zero temperatures. And this is just the beginning. Friday afternoon and evening, this is when the most intense Arctic air settles in across the upper Midwest. We're not talking about uncomfortable cold. We're talking about dangerous cold, life-threatening cold. Saturday morning, the peak. This is when some areas could see actual air temperatures of -10 to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Add in winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour, wind chills of -30 to -50 degrees. Let me put those numbers in perspective. At -40 wind chill, exposed skin freezes in under 3 minutes. Your car might not start, batteries fail in extreme cold. If you run out of gas or break down on a highway, you're in a life or death situation within minutes, not hours. Saturday afternoon through Sunday, the cold spreads eastward. New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, you're all getting hit with the coldest air of the season. High temperatures in the teens. Overnight lows in the single digits. Wind chills below 0. This isn't typical winter cold for these cities. Infrastructure isn't designed for this. Pipes will burst. Power grids will strain. People who don't have adequate heat will be in danger. The cold air literally drapes across the entire northern tier of the country like a frozen blanket. From the Dakotas to Maine, 30 to 40 degrees below average, and it persists for days. Sunday and Monday, the most intense cold begins to retreat northward. But don't celebrate yet. It's still going to be brutally cold, just slightly less brutal. By next week, most of the Arctic air sits across the Northeast, but here's where it gets interesting and uncertain. There are two possible scenarios for how far south this cold air penetrates. Scenario 1, the less likely but more catastrophic. The jet stream dips so far south that Arctic air reaches all the way to the Gulf Coast. If this happens, we're talking about over 100 million people impacted, possibly more. Cities like Atlanta, Memphis, Birmingham could see temperatures in the teens. That would cause widespread infrastructure failure in areas not equipped for that kind of cold. Scenario 2, more likely based on current models. The jet stream stays more zonal, meaning the cold air sits primarily across the northern tier. The south would still see a cold front, but not the extreme temperatures. Still cold, just not catastrophic. Which scenario unfolds? We'll know more by Wednesday. But here's the critical point. The northern tier is getting hammered regardless. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, you're locked in for dangerous cold. Question: when's the last time you checked if your pipes are adequately insulated? Because thousands of homeowners are about to learn that lesson the expensive way. Here at Minute 5, as I promised, your complete action plan for surviving the next 7 days. Today through Tuesday. If you're in the Mid-Atlantic or Northern Plains, this is your preparation window. Stock up on essentials now. Bread, milk, batteries, flashlights, medications. By Tuesday afternoon, stores in the storm path will be cleaned out. Tuesday. If you're in North Dakota, Minnesota, or Wisconsin, do not travel after noon. The blizzard hits fast and hard. If you're on the road when it strikes, you could be stranded for hours. Remember that scenario I mentioned earlier, 12 hours stuck on a highway? That's what happens when people underestimate blizzards. Wednesday, check on elderly neighbors. Make sure they have heat, food, and medication. This is critical. More people die from isolation during winter storms than from the cold itself. Thursday, this is your last day before the Arctic blast. Final preparations must be complete. Test your furnace. Make sure you have backup heat if power fails. Bring pets inside. Clear snow from vents and exhaust pipes. Insulate exposed pipes. Friday through Sunday. This is survival mode. Limit outdoor exposure to absolute necessities. If you must go outside, dress in layers. Cover all exposed skin. Tell someone where you're going and when you'll be back. Carry a winter survival kit in your car. Blankets, water, snacks, flashlight, first aid kit, phone charger. The small twists keep coming. Here's one nobody's talking about yet. Another winter storm is possible on Friday. This one forms under that massive high-pressure system that's bringing all the Arctic air. It starts in the Rockies north of Denver with heavy snow, then weakens as it moves toward the Midwest and Ohio Valley. It probably won't be a major storm by the time it reaches population centers. More likely snow showers from Kansas to the Northeast, including Ohio and Kentucky. But it adds another layer of complexity to an already chaotic pattern. And here's another twist. The Pacific Northwest is getting absolutely pounded with rain right now. 5 to 7 inches possible in western Oregon and Washington. Flooding is becoming a serious concern there. So while the eastern 2/3 of the country freezes, the west coast drowns. Don't miss the next part, because there's a wild card in this forecast that could change everything. Remember those two scenarios I mentioned? The uncertainty about how far south the cold air goes? Here's why that matters so much. If the jet stream stays zonal, more east-west, the south dodges the worst of it. Cold, yes, but manageable. But if it dips trough, extends further south than models are showing, we're talking about a completely different situation. Hard freezes in Florida, snow in Atlanta, Memphis shut down, Houston dealing with ice. The models are split. About 70% show the zonal scenario, 30% show the deeper dip. In weather forecasting, a 30% chance of something catastrophic is enough to prepare for it. Southern states, don't ignore this. Have a plan B. Know where your water main shutoff is. Have extra blankets. Stock up on non-perishable food, because if that 30% scenario happens, your infrastructure will fail. You don't have the salt trucks. You don't have the plows. You don't have the experience dealing with extreme cold. The economic impact of this weather pattern is going to be massive. We're talking billions in lost productivity, holiday shopping disrupted, flight cancellations numbering in the thousands, supply chains snarled. But more importantly, this pattern will kill people. Statistically, extended cold snaps and multiple blizzards always do. Heart attacks from shoveling snow, car accidents in whiteout conditions, hypothermia when heat fails, carbon monoxide poisoning from improper generator use. Let me tell you about proper generator safety, because this is critical. Generators produce carbon monoxide, an invisible, odorless gas that kills. Run your generator outside, at least 20 feet from any windows or doors. Never, ever run it in a garage or enclosed space, even with the door open. People die every single winter making this mistake. Space heater safety. Keep them at least 3 feet from anything flammable. Never leave them unattended. Don't use extension cords, plug directly into wall outlets, have working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. These aren't just tips, these are life or death instructions. The lake effect snow potential after the main storms is another concern. The Great Lakes are warmer than normal for December, which means they're loaded with moisture. When that Arctic air screams across those warm lakes, it picks up moisture and dumps it as snow. Buffalo's southern suburbs could see 2 to 3 feet of lake effect snow from Friday through Sunday. Syracuse, 18 to 30 inches possible. Erie, Pennsylvania, 1 to 3 feet. These are amounts that bury cars and collapse roofs. If you live in lake effect zones, you know the drill. But this time, it's different because the cold air is so intense and so persistent. Lake effect won't just last a day. It could continue for 3 to 5 days. That's when totals get truly historic. High confidence forecast. These areas are locked in. Northern Plains, blizzard conditions Tuesday, sub-zero temps by Friday. Upper Midwest, heavy snow Tuesday, Wednesday. Dangerous cold Friday, Sunday. Great Lakes lake effect snow Friday, Sunday. Some areas could see 4 feet total. Interior Northeast, moderate snow Wednesday. Extreme cold Saturday, Sunday. Medium confidence forecast. Coastal Northeast, light snow Wednesday. Very cold, but not Arctic cold. Ohio Valley snow showers Friday. Below average temps all weekend. Mid-Atlantic, snow today winding down. Cold moves in Thursday, Friday. Low confidence forecast. Southern Plains, uncertain. Could be just cold, could be very cold. Southeast wildcard. Anywhere from chilly to hard freeze depending on jet stream position. Question, do you have enough food and water for a week? Because if this pattern locks in the way models suggest, some rural areas could be isolated for days. Let me give you the danger zones where the worst combination of snow and cold collide. Tier 1. Extreme danger. Northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, upper peninsula of Michigan, upstate New York. You're getting both massive snow and extreme cold. Power outages here could be deadly. Tier 2, high danger. Twin Cities, Milwaukee, Buffalo, Syracuse, Burlington, Vermont. Major population centers that will see significant impacts. Tier 3, moderate danger. Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Boston, Portland, Maine. You'll see effects, but infrastructure should mostly hold up. The recovery from this pattern could take weeks. Snow removal budgets will be depleted. Equipment will break down. Salt supplies will run low. And if we get additional storms after this, which is possible, some cities might literally run out of places to put the snow. By Saturday and Sunday, high pressure builds across the Midwest and Northeast. Normally, high pressure means nice weather. Not this time. This high pressure is what's trapping all that Arctic air in place. It's creating a dome of cold that's hard to dislodge. The jet stream remains zonal through the weekend, which limits additional storm potential. That's actually good news. We don't need more snow on top of what's already fallen. But it also means the cold persists. No warm-up coming. No relief in sight. Next week gets uncertain. Models diverge beyond 7 days. Some show the pattern continuing, others show it breaking down. What we know for sure, the northern tier stays below average for at least 10 days, possibly 2 weeks. Don't miss this crucial point. I'm repeating it because it's that important. This is a multi-day, multi-storm, multi-threat pattern, not a single event. You can't just prepare once and be done. You need sustained vigilance. Check forecasts twice a day minimum. Conditions can change rapidly. Storm tracks shift. Intensity changes. What looks like a miss today could be a direct hit tomorrow. Stay in contact with elderly relatives and neighbors. A daily phone call could save a life. If they don't answer, send someone to check on them. Have backup plans for everything. What if you lose power? What if roads are impassable? What if the furnace fails? Think through these scenarios now, not when they're happening. The historical comparisons are sobering. This pattern is similar to January 1977, coldest month of the century for much of the East, multiple deaths attributed to cold. February 1996, multiple major blizzards in 3 weeks, states of emergency across 8 states. January 2014, the polar vortex winter. Natural gas shortages, entire Great Lakes froze, weeks of dangerous cold. We could be adding December 2024 to that list. Tomorrow, I'll have updated forecasts as overnight models complete their runs. Critical details about storm tracks and cold air extent. Wednesday, I'll break down the blizzard in real time as it's happening. Friday, the Arctic blast preview with final preparation checklist. You need to follow along. This is a developing situation. Information you get today might be outdated by tomorrow. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. This is not the time to miss updates. Share this information with everyone you know in affected areas. Text it to your parents. Post it in community groups. Email it to your church. The more people who are prepared, the fewer casualties we'll have. Here's your teaser for tomorrow's video. I'll reveal which cities face the highest probability of record-breaking cold, the exact hour when temperatures crash below zero in major metros, and the one supply that's about to become impossible to find in stores. Plus, I'll show you the extended forecast, what happens after this initial assault. Because there are signs this pattern could persist well into late December. Some models are hinting at additional storms around December 15th through 20th. This could be the most significant winter weather pattern in 10 years, possibly longer for some regions. The science is clear, the models are consistent, the impacts will be severe. But knowledge is power. You now know what's coming. You know when it's arriving. You know what you need to do to stay safe. Use the next 24 to 48 hours wisely. After that, you're reacting instead of preparing. And in weather this extreme, reaction time can mean the difference between inconvenience and tragedy. Stay safe, stay warm, stay informed, and I'll see you tomorrow with critical updates. The insane winter pattern is here. Are you ready?